Hi, my name's Chris, and this is my O-scale layout. I'm gonna try to go over, what my layout consists of, and give you guys a rundown of what I've done here so far and what I hope to continue to do. I try to make my layout as accessible for me as possible. So one of the things I did was I installed my bridges on hinges. Hope to dress them up a little better as time goes on and I get to this section here. But I got them so I could lift them up and walk into my layout. And same with this one here. I could walk in here. And both my tables, this is actually two tables, they separate right over here. They're separated. I got them where they slide in together into like guides, and I also have a set of hinge straps that lock together and hold it together. It was a little bit of a challenge to get everything to line up perfect in the seams and all the track, the way the track plan was, so they all came with this size section meets up with that size section, and the pins on the Hellgate Bridge, because that's old tubular style track, ties in to the tie-in tracks there. And both tables also have star wiring blocks underneath. I use them MTH wiring blocks, and I star wired each table individually and ran them together to my control area over here. And that's what I did there. I used, believe it or not, like regular plugs for trailers. When you pull a trailer behind a pickup or a tractor trailer for that matter, those metal plugs to run my wires through and get a good connection when I connect them. One of the problems I had was with my Hellgate Bridge, I guess because it's metal, I was losing my signal on my Lionel Legacy system, so I had to ground that out. Someone told me at one of the hobby shops I go to that run an earth ground to it. And I believe I seen a video on it too. I think Bobbitt's Trains, I think he did something. He had a problem in his yard or something that he was losing signal or something on it. And same thing happened once I started building my town up here and putting all these buildings up with all the wiring and lighting and stuff going to them. I started having that problem underneath through my tunnel area here. I got a tunnel that runs completely underneath this whole upper level here and loops around onto the other table, and I started losing signal with that too as I wired up here and everything. So I had to run a set of earth grounds alongside the tracks. I ran one above the tracks and I ran one in between the two tracks running through the tunnel there, and I that solved my problem. One of the things I've been working on recently is this yard area. I've been spending a lot of time on this lately. I made it so that I took like oh boy, what's this stuff called? Facial board, I guess. I think that's what it is. It's like not even a 1/4 inch thick, and I cut it to fit around the tracks, to give the tracks an embedded look, like they're in the ground. And I notice in a lot of the rail yards and stuff that I've been to, or short line spurs and stuff that go into the harbor down in New Haven and stuff, the tracks are not very well maintained. They sink and they're basically almost like they're buried in the ground. As far as my yard goes here, I took most of these buildings apart and structures apart, and and put some details on them, weathered them as best I could, and added lights to them, and kind of gave them all a personal touch to make them look a little more realistic here. And I still haven't gotten around to doing ground cover yet. I'll probably be doing that soon at some point, and hopefully start on it maybe this coming weekend. I like the Strasbourg building here. I took that all apart and repainted it and lit it. Just all these structures I did that, you know. And so far I'm pretty impressed. I'm happy with what I see so far, you know. As far as over here, I got a couple tin plate pieces. I got the Hell's Gate Bridge. I like that, you know. It's a sharp looking bridge, even though it's very toy-like. I'm not going for a prototypical style layout here or anything by that stretch of the imagination. You know, I got the 116 reproduction Lionel Corp station next to it. I figured those two pieces would look nice together. Same with that platform. I didn't really paint it or do anything to it to you know, make it look, you know, more real or prototypical. I left it kind of toy-like looking, you know, right in this area here. Got the 20th Century Diner. You know, a couple background buildings, the MTH bus station. I'm still working in that area there. I'm going to do more to make it look, add some more stuff to it. I mean, basically everything is still a work in progress. You know, I need to populate it. Some foliage here and there, some details, you know. What else? The layout is 12.5 feet wide by 17 feet long. And, you know, I've been working at it. I started a couple years ago with doing some track plans on one of those track software sites. You could come up with some track plans, and you know, I kicked around a few different dog bone and a you know, basic up and down dual loops, and you know, and this is what I finally came up with. And even there, you know, I hemmed and hawed before I actually did it. Over in this section here, what I would like to do too down the road in the future, I'd like to put a hinged piece of plywood in here and make this into like a harbor port scene, and where I could still, you know, the finished product, be able to swing it down and still be able to get in here to reach everything. Like I said, the tables separate. They're all on wheels, so I could roll this table, separate them, and roll them out away from the wall, and be able to work back there. You know, initially I was thinking about building the layout so it was like a 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the wall, but you know what? That wouldn't work too much. I'm like, you know, one bowl of pasta away from that not happening. So, you know, so I've tried to come up with solutions to how I would like this layout to be, to make it as easy as possible for me to do the things I want to do to it without climbing under it. I do have an access hole underneath this upper level here to get into the tunnel area if, you know, something should happen down there. And that's where I'm at with that part of the layout. Now these hills or mountains or cliffs, whatever you want to call them, these were one of the first pieces of scenery I started working on, and actually before I plastered them all down and everything, I lifted and placed them in spot over here. Another thing I did was make sure that's 072 curve inside a tunnel before it gets to the straightaway. I wanted to make sure stuff like my my big boy and you know, any big locomotives, long freight cars or passenger cars, anything with any length would give me a problem with banging into walls and stuff like that. So what I did, I forget if it was OGR or CTT. I read an article, and they had someone that made one of these up. It was in the back, and this is basically the extent of the outer width, the outer overhang of the big boy, you know, and that's about the biggest locomotive you're going to run on a O scale, and this would be the inner length of overhang you need from center rail. For any long 21-inch passenger cars or you know, auto racks, you know, anything that's really a long piece of rolling stock. And I ran it around all my curves and marked it out with a pencil just to know where I was at, that I wouldn't have too much overhang, you know. These hills and mountains were basically carved out of that pink styrofoam. You know, I'm still working on this area here, still working on this whole layout, basically. My roads, they're out of gator board or core board. I cut them to size, peel the paper off, paint them in a grayish, blackish, kind of give it that old tar look. And I put some cracks and details in them to make them look like they're old beat up roads. Painted the lines on them, you know, and try to get them as detailed as I could, along with these cliffs here. You know, I think they came out pretty good. So far, I like it. You know, this bridge here was 054, and I couldn't find an 054 bridge. Kicked around putting up a truss, but I had the track running underneath it, so I got those girder plates from Scenic Express. They were up in Amherst at the show, and I picked them up there and made a plywood deck, ran my track, ran these on it, and they came out pretty good. You know, they served the purpose, I suppose, you know. And that's where it's at, you know. That's what I did with this section here. Over in the far corner there, you know, where my road comes out of town here, I'm contemplating doing perhaps a shadow box and making some kind of like tunnel going into there, and you know, maybe doing some terrain scenery around it to make it look like it's going into a hill or mountain or something like that. You know, got a set of rail crossing gates. I'm gonna try to install them here and hopefully get them working so they work off a signal with the oncoming train. I don't know. Kind of late for me to get into block signaling. I suppose I could. I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to try infrared or that. So just want to give you a quick look of what everything looks like all lit up here. And you know, I hope to be posting some videos real soon. Hopefully I'll try to get something together with some of my trains and my collection going. So far the only thing I've really posted was just my big boy going along, and my 10-wheeler pulling them Atlas Old New Haven string of cars, and you know, so I hope to get something posted up real soon, you know. And I got a lot of nice locomotives and rolling stock. Well, most of it's all old stuff, you know. As far as old, I mean Woodside reefers and stuff like that, and I hope to bring some of those locomotives and stuff out soon, and get them out for you guys to check out and make some nice videos with it. So until then, thanks.